Welcome back. In an effort to promote financial literacy amongst Bronx families, organization Neighborhood Initiative Development Corps launches the Financial Literacy Ambassador Program. Director of Community Engagement Jessica Toro and Executive Director William Foster join me to discuss what participants can expect when they join this program. Thank you both so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Now, can you first start off by telling me a little bit more about your organization?
Sure, I'll answer that. Neighborhood Initiatives is a youth and community development nonprofit organization in the Northeast Bronx. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year, and our mission is to prepare our youth for a bright future and to help build strong neighborhoods. On the youth side, we provide after-school programs for over 600 kids every day and summer camps, and our focus is on providing academic enrichment, academic support, civic engagement, and community and leadership development and social emotional learning. And we work with parents to give them the support they need to help their kids get through and to be able to get to the places that they want to go. We also have a community center at Eastchester Gardens, and we work with kids there all afternoon into the night, on the weekends with adults, with seniors. On the community development side, we assist landlords and tenants with negotiating any challenges that they have. We work with tenants on eviction prevention. We're assisting people who are in the shelter system in getting into apartments. We provide workshops for landlords and tenants. We work also with other smaller community groups to help strengthen their membership and to be able to reach out into their communities to make their places that they want to be able to live and stay.
So you provide so many programs, which is amazing, but one of the programs we want to talk about today is the Financial Literacy Ambassador Program. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. The Financial Literacy Ambassador Program is a series of workshops, both virtually and in person, that provide that teaches teens about the basic concepts of finance. So they learn about savings, they learn about investing, entrepreneurship. And so they are expected to apply and practice what they learn as they go into college, as they get their first jobs, maybe get their first homes. And they are also asked to share what they learned with their family and friends.
Now, what was the inspiration behind actually creating this program?
Sure. So we surveyed the teens in our community through the New York City participatory budget that came about through the Task Force of Racial Inclusion and Equity grant with the CEC, the Civic Engagement Commission, and YMI, the Young Men's Initiative. And so when we surveyed the teens, 70% of them voted on financial literacy education. And we were super excited about that because we strongly feel that when we educate our teenagers early, or even our children early, they're able to apply those concepts and what they learn into their lives to help them build better futures for themselves.
Now, I know recently a lot of people and a lot of organizations have been, promoting financial literacy. Can you explain, how this actually leads to better outcomes for lower income families?
Sure. So financial literacy really starts with having a goal, having a plan, and the financial literacy is really all about the tools to help people achieve those goals. By being financially literate, families become educated consumers, and they're able to maximize the power of their money and make decisions that are going to prepare them for greater stability today and financial independence tomorrow. A couple of simple examples are people who use a check cashing service wind up, if somebody is making $15 an hour, they're working a full-time job, they wind up spending over $800 a year just on that check cashing service, as opposed to having a bank account and not having that money available to put away for savings or to have to do whatever they want, really, but to be able to have that choice. Another tool of financial literacy is to be able to budget and track your expenses, and knowing that being an educated consumer is really the one of the major paths to that financial independence. Using a convenience store is not going to you pay for that convenience. Look, the value for young people of putting away a little bit of money towards their retirement today and every week through some investment really changes their path down the road. And
I was going to say that I really like that you mentioned that, because I know that a lot of people often, when they see families are struggling, to be financially literate, they kind of view it as like a moral decision or like something bad. But can you also explain, what are some barriers that make it difficult for these families to achieve financial literacy?
Sure, I'll tell you it was a great question. I think the biggest challenge is just the daily onslaught of trying to raise their children in a world that is a very challenging world. There's so much that goes on in the communities, and people, they come home at the end of the day and they don't have the energy, the brain space to really think about, like, well, where do I want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, and in 50 years? And so I think that's one. Another is that, for many people, if they don't have a family or community tradition of saving and of making those plans, they don't have that resource to draw upon. Another challenge is today's commercialism and consumerism. Like today's influencers, everybody has to buy this or buy that, and parents want to do the best they can for their kids, and they make decisions that are, that they're trying to help their kids, but in the end, if you spend money on this, you don't have money for something else. And then the last thing well, two things really. One is for kids, I think one of the biggest challenges is that when you're a kid, you think that the world goes on forever, and that retirement, being at that stage of life is never going to be there. And as many of us come to learn, we do get there, and if we haven't been preparing all along, we wind up in a place where we don't have that ability to be financially independent. And really, that's the goal. And just the last thing with that is, for many people in the Bronx and many people in the United States overall, like, building wealth is an intergenerational prospect. We don't just come and everybody just doesn't come and make $1 million today or tomorrow. My grandparents came here with nothing, and so many of the people came with very little, and they make sure that their kids go to high school and to college, and that their kids, and so they are able to pass that on. But if you don't have those traditions, if you don't have people saying, well, what is your plan, then you're not going to get there. And so, the value of this program is, and the value of overall of financial literacy is to bring that awareness to people, into people's consciousness, and help them think, where do I want to be? How am I going to be able to make that happen down the road?
So I really want to know, what will a typical day in the program look like for these teenagers?
So we do have the virtual and in-person sessions. During the in-person sessions, the teens will come in and they're able to participate in activities, all while learning a couple of topics, because during each session they do go over a couple topics at a time, right? Because it was a 6 session program. So they participated in those activities that they had in the workbook. But when they were virtually, they were able to review the review what they learning, and then also were given an assignment where they then are able to share that at the next in-person session. So it was one session would be virtual, the next session would be in person for that purpose, and so they were learning all of these basic skills throughout those 6 weeks.
Now, as a director of community engagement, what are some long-term goals, or just like overall things you hope that these teenagers get from this experience?
Sure. So we hope that they learn what we would say are basic financial concepts, right? And they learn how to save. Most importantly, save, right? Learn the difference between the wants and needs, because our young children, and I would say even adults, we often confuse that, and so we spend money on things that we don't really need to, but just having that understanding of what these basic financial concepts are, how they affect, how they can benefit them, not even affect them, how they can benefit them in the long run, and just apply that to their life and practice that during the different phases that they going into, such as starting college, buying their first homes, maybe buying their first car, and even for some, as you know, they become adults, they moving out, so they have to handle those finances on their own. So we just hope that they obtain all the tools that they need to be able to make those better decisions for themselves, and help their family and friends also do that, because like Mr. Foster mentioned, a lot of the times they don't have that example at home, and so maybe they are the first to introduce budgeting to their families, introduce how to invest their money. And so we just hope that it can be the beginning of a change, not only for them but for the entire family.
So we're going to have the social media on the screen so people can learn more about your organization and how to sign up. And I also want to say thank you so much for joining me.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
having us.
Thank you very much.
That's all for our show today. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kibin Alleyne, wishing you and your safety and wellness now and always. See you next time.